Hi everyone, it's 1 o'clock here on IC Radio and I'm Izzy.
And I'm Scarlett. Welcome back to Science at 1, where we bring you the best science news, gossip and analysis.
And the best music. On our playlist today includes the likes of Maro, Femina and Deki Allen.
And today on the science menu, we're talking everything AI, including topics like the AI bubble, AI psychosis, and the productivity culture surrounding AI.
Not only that, does shouting at seagulls prevent them from stealing your food?
No, stay away. That might move. That might move. No, stay away. That might move. That might move.
That's all coming up here on Science at 1.
So we're having a bit of an AI themed show this week. So we were wondering about how much our audience knows about AI.
Yeah, we thought it could be fun to have a little quiz maybe about AI. So pull out your notebooks or your note app on your phone and get ready to write down some answers and we'll reveal them at the end of the show.
Okay, are you ready? So, first question, true or false? An AI can understand what you are telling it and it can respond accordingly.
Giving a couple of seconds for
Yes.
people to think, write down an
Think
answer.
hard.
Okay, question 2. Again, true or false? Because AI output relies on data and algorithms, AI is inherently neutral and unbiased.
All right. I hope that's enough time because question 3 is another true or false question. So, true or false? AI can often make mistakes when completing technical tasks like coding, diagnosing diseases, or solving complex problems.
And our last question will be a multiple choice question, A to D. So is AI harmful for the environment? AI is harmful for the environment. I think that's quite well known.
Yes.
AI is harmful for the environment, but why is it harmful for the environment? So is it A, it produces electronic waste? B, it consumes large quantities of water? C, it relies on rare and critical elements and minerals? Or D, none of the above? I feel like I actually answered that one.
Well, yes, those were the questions and they will be revealed at the end of the show. So let's move on to our first song of the show, which is The Sun is Up Forever by Joseph.
That was The Sun Is Up Forever by Joseph. So, our first item this week is about the effects of a potential AI bubble burst on scientific research. So, the AI bubble is all over the news recently, as many of you have seen. People, particularly financial analysts, are concerned that we have over-invested in AI. However, there is some debate as to whether we are instead in an AI boom. In my opinion, we are definitely over-investing in AI. Yeah. So a few weeks ago, Michael Burry, a very famous hedge fund investor, bet against the AI market and predicted a bubble burst, which has led to a lot of discourse online about the potential burst, so when it might occur and what it's going to mean for everybody.
Michael Burry, isn't that Christian Bale's character from the film The Big Short? Yeah. He's the guy who bet against the housing crisis in the US, no?
Yeah, exactly. That's him. So he made hundreds of millions betting against the housing market in 2008, which many people didn't see coming. And yes, he's more of a household name now from being in the Hollywood film. So the fact that he is now betting against the AI market like he did with the housing market has sparked a lot of conversation recently.
And to catch everyone up to speed, the 2008 Wall Street crash caused a global recession, and there was a really slow economic recovery. So it is pretty scary to think that another crash could be coming soon, and what it could do to the economy and our lives. Is this what you mean by a bubble is going to burst?
Yeah. I mean, every company and industry would be affected if the AI bubble bursts, including science. So last week, a science writer, Fred Schwaller, wrote an article in Nature exploring what he thought it would mean for science.
And what was his verdict? Are we doomed?
So surprisingly, no. He thought it could be a good thing. So it's this idea that all the talent working in AI could be liberated from it if the bubble bursts. We have this issue at the moment in AI academia called the AI brain drain, where PhD students who specialise in AI go into tech industries rather than academia and tend to work in companies with more financial interests than science interests.
Yeah, I guess I've heard this a lot too, because the incentive of the huge salaries that tech giants can offer, I mean,
yeah,
it's very
exactly.
tempting.
I know. So yeah, if the bubble bursts, then a lot of the talent in the tech world could move into academia or private companies researching tech solutions to science-related problems, which could be a really good thing.
Yeah.
We have kind of already seen this happening. So top AI researchers at OpenAI and Meta have recently founded a company called Periodic Labs, which uses tech to accelerate scientific discoveries.
That does sound like an amazing potential for science. However, people losing their jobs and the huge economic decline would generally have horrible effects on our lives. So we definitely have to tread carefully and keep an eye on this potential bubble burst and maybe even prepare for it, I guess. Well, moving on to our next song on the playlist, we have Sula by Jamila Woods.
Something only bodies heal. Promiscuous holiness. all this time to kill. Something like a prayer to kneel to. Lay on my pillow, you think I'm so weak. Soft as my skin is, my powers discreet. I'm better, I'm better, I'm better, I'm better, I'm better, I'm better. I'm better, I'm better, I'm better, I'm better, I'm better, I'm better. I'm better, I'm better, I'm better, I'm better, I'm better, I'm better. I'm better, I'm better, I'm better, I'm better, I'm better, I'm better. Ooh, I'm better. Ooh, I'm thick with birds, I met you in the dirt. Wicked burns, you left me so thick with birds, you met me in the dirt. Sick at first, but haven't I learned? I'm not sorry that I cut you out. I'm not having I learned? Can't be sorry that I cut you out. What's haven't I? Haven't I'm not sorry that I cut you out. I'm not sorry. Can't be sorry that I cut you out. What's done is done. No crying, no can't be sorry. No crying, not sorry.
That was Sula Paperback by Jamila Woods. Next up, we have a news package from our producer, Yilin, this week, talking about AI psychosis. Scarlett, have you heard much about this phenomenon?
I have heard the term before, but I haven't really looked into it in detail.
Yeah.
But I've definitely heard about people getting a little lost as to what conversations they can have with AI and how they can actually respond. But yeah.
Yeah, I know a few people who use it to get sort of therapy maybe, or like advice on things, which is
Right.
never
Should be
great.
Taken with caution, for sure.
Exactly. So we have a little clip for you guys today. We're going to hear the story from Yilin now.
So it all started really with his family member, with his uncle. At the beginning, it was normal. It was using AI for kind of just for writing books. And after that, each week by week, it was kind of more intense. It starts to getting more really personal, the relationship with the AI. And he literally stopped taking showers, stopped eating. After that, he got to the psychiatric hospital for 21 days after that. And he was diagnosed with AI psychosis.
Online, the term AI psychosis is rising in popularity.
But there have been a number of reports about people developing distorted thoughts or delusional beliefs triggered by interactions with AI chatbots.
AI psychosis has mental health professionals
is inducing delusions or distorted beliefs. It's a phenomenon that is being referred to as AI psychosis.
I'm Dr. Lucy Osler. I am a lecturer in philosophy at the University of Exeter. I've more recently been in my research focusing on what is commonly in the media described as cases of AI psychosis or AI-induced psychosis.
AI psychosis is new and emerging, and I must admit that it's a pretty new concept for me. I know what AI is, and I think I know what psychosis is. But Lucy is one researcher who is bringing those concepts together into this one intriguing term that seems to reflect the times we're now in.
It's an interesting term, which I think is worth pausing on because it's used to capture a whole host of different experiences, which we might think are actually quite different. On the one hand, we're getting reports of people who are coming to hold kind of delusional beliefs or having delusional experiences about reality. But it can also be used and is used to pick up quite different phenomena, I think, such as people who are falling in love with their chatbots. And so at the moment, this term is being used in this kind of catch-all for weird things people are experiencing when they talk to chatbots for a long time.
Which has driven two entrepreneurs in Canada to co-found the Human Lion Project to take on harms like AI psychosis. They're pushing for developers to build more safety into chatbots to protect users' emotional well-being. Benjamin Dory is the vice president.
So what we're doing at the Human Lion Project, it's really building and creating the first best team, create security among AGI, AI, chatbot, the future of really like AI service, because we need really a third-party studio, if I can say, for that. Because if it's just big tech company, we really think that it's difficult to have incentive to really work on those regulation and on those safety.
After seeing a gap in the proper safety regulations in AI chatbots, the Human Lion Project focuses on the urgent need for proper AI governance and safety protocols as these technologies rapidly integrate into our daily lives. They hope that by collecting stories from individuals, it would raise awareness.
So right now we have like 225 people in a support group, and they are all living some kind of same patterns with some different behavior with the conversation, but it's all different contexts.
I do think that we need to give some very careful thought to how we're framing these things, because what we call things really does matter.
It's important for people like Lucy exploring all different levels of the behavioural aspects in AI psychosis experiences with companies like the Human Lion Project that directly work with researchers and mental health professionals to push for better regulations and safety for the future.
Wow, that is very scary to hear. But at least we hear that people are trying to bring more regulations into this, no?
Yeah, I guess that's always a good thing.
Yeah.
And also just bringing awareness about it so people know not to use these devices.
No, I didn't know it got this bad, yeah.
It's terrifying. I mean, I saw in the BBC, I was reading a BBC article the other day, and this woman called Dr. Susan Shelmadine, she's a medical imaging doctor at Great Ormond Street Hospital and also an AI academic, and she believes that one day doctors will actually be asking patients how much they use AI, like in the same way that they currently ask how much you smoking and how much you drinking. Like it's now comparable to that.
Oh yeah, that feels very dystopian, but I guess necessary.
Yeah, completely.
Okay, well, moving on to the next song. This is November Like You by Halima. was November Like You by Halima. Next on our agenda today, we have another threatening use of AI, the use of AI in weapons, namely autonomous weapons, which Izzy has recently been researching for a project. So, first of all, could you tell us what autonomous weapons actually are?
Essentially, autonomous weapons are AI weapons that can make decisions themselves. So they act autonomously. There isn't a need for human involvement, which is incredibly terrifying. So yeah, they sense these things and they make decisions about where to target.
Essentially, life or death decisions.
Exactly.
Wow.
It's terrifying. So you can have AI drones or AI guns, and they all do the same thing, where they're all based off of this sensor technology, and they can be put out in the field themselves and detect and eliminate targets just based on their own decisions. So some have varying degrees of human involvement, but in a lot of cases the decision-making process is primarily done by the AI. The only real human involvement they need is just to set them up, particularly in the case of drones, and then they can send them out, and then they won't be jammed or nobody can get involved. They can go out into the field and make decisions themselves and create destruction, unfortunately.
That seems highly unethical. How is this allowed?
It is. I don't know. I mean, particularly because, it can't be held accountable for its actions. So these systems have not got strong regulation in international law, particularly because this technology is evolving so rapidly and it's really hard to keep up with it. But we also just don't know who is to blame because, like I said, they can't be held accountable themselves. So the International Committee for the Red Cross has recently urgently pushed for a very solid international regulation of these systems to address any legal uncertainty and has called for new rules to be put in place. But as we speak, these systems are being used in conflict.
Where have they been used and where are they currently being used?
They were first reported according to the UN, but who knows to what varying degree AI has been involved. But the fully autonomous systems were first reported by the UN to be back in 2020 in Libya. And today they're used in Gaza and Ukraine. And their use could be more and more ubiquitous because the scariest part is they're actually not complicated to make. I think people hear AI and they think it's complicated, but actually the technology behind it is a lot simpler than what people think. They're also incredibly cheap and scalable to make. And of course, you're not putting a human in the field. There's not a human on the front line of conflict. And so as the AI and these systems are doing it for them, from a military perspective, it seems kind of useful to them.
Yeah, but I don't know, it feels to me that this shouldn't be allowed.
I agree. It does feel incredibly unethical. The UN does want to ban fully autonomous systems, but even semi-autonomous ones and anything to do with AI assistance in conflict zones can just be hugely problematic, especially as there's legal ambiguity to the degree of AI's involvement, and we don't know who to blame, and there's problematic loopholes around it.
And it's also depends on who's, making the AIs, where the data is coming from, because we have seen with other applications of AI that it has been biased in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So
exactly, yeah. It's horrible to think of how more extreme the situation could get because we don't know what training data the manufacturers are feeding their AI systems for these purposes, and so we don't know what kind of bias they will show as a result. But like you said, we've seen other applications of AI have this bias, so your mind can only make the same assumption that AI weapons would also have the same.
Yeah. No, this is a very heavy topic, but it's definitely something that people should be aware about, that this is happening right now. It's not in some dystopian future. But yeah. Next up on our agenda today, we have finally AI's involvement in productivity culture. But before we get into that, here's a song by Maro called Ha de Sarar.
صغير، 'كاش بتدير
que a despedida, mesmo fria, é para aceitar. Foram 2 passos para a frente e logo mais 8 para trás. Sei que quem cala consente, mas o meu silêncio pede para ficar.
That was Ha de Sarar by Maro. So recently I watched a YouTube video by the creator Mina Lay. Shout out to her, she's great. It was on productivity culture, and it completely sent me into like a thought research spiral. Essentially, she talked about how we've turned everything we do, from work to what we do in our free time, into something that has to be efficient, optimized, or tracked. And honestly, since we're on the topic of AI, I feel like it's just feeding into that mindset a lot.
Oh, completely. I mean, I am definitely one of those people. It's just like we're not allowed to be slow anymore. You just want the constant dopamine hits from fast reels, and I even watch things on 2 times speed just to get it through quickly, which is awful.
Yeah, I mean, I do puzzles while watching these YouTube videos, so it is definitely an issue of dopamine for sure. But yeah, I think also just recently a lot of people feel really overwhelmed with their work. Anyone you talk to, they tell you they're having a burnout or that they feel really overwhelmed. And in her video, Lay talks about this concept of the Sisyphean inbox, which is a metaphor for how similarly in Greek mythology, where Sisyphus was endlessly pushing up a boulder up a hill only for it to roll back down, we feel like answering our emails is just a never-ending task.
I feel that on another level. In my old job, I had so many emails, an insane amount of emails, and I almost felt like the more productive I was at responding to them, then the more that would just come back because I've replied, and then they would reply to me. And it was just this horrible cycle of the faster I was at replying, the more I would get in my inbox, and it was incredibly overwhelming. But I mean, I had email and Slack on my phone, and I would constantly check them out of work hours, which is incredibly unhealthy. But it's just that need to know what's going on, a bit of a control thing when you have access to knowing.
Yeah, and I mean, you're not alone. Lay did bring up in her video that there is a crazy statistics that young adults spend about 1 full month, a year, checking their work emails when they're not on the clock.
That's terrifying.
And I get it. Like with new technology, like having a super high-tech computer that fits into your pocket, we are addicted to constantly checking and constantly, satisfying that knowledge crave. But then also it leads to new expectations such as, higher availability. And I feel like AI really adds to this by promising to make tasks like writing emails quicker and easier. The promise is that it will save you time, but still I see people working more, and I feel like, it's leading to burnout.
Oh yeah, I know burnout oh so well. I also think it's a huge problem in the creative industries, isn't that right?
Yes, for sure. I feel like AI is often marketed as this magical tool that's supposed to take away the tedious tasks so that creatives can focus on the fun bits. I'm saying that sarcastically, because what are the fun bits of creativity? But yeah, just because AI can produce something instantly doesn't mean that humans can. I read in this interview that this art director from New York said that people now expect more and expect it faster. And because a video can be generated in 30 seconds, timelines for delivery have shrunk. But our mental capacity to sit with ideas, ponder, and internalize them has stayed the same. I feel like many creatives would agree with this statement. And this isn't something I thought about much. You know, that like the tedious parts of creating is the parts that give you time and space to marinate your ideas and let your creativity grow.
Yeah, that makes sense. And also just this idea of then if you have shorter timelines for things, you just end up you have more tasks on and you're wearing multiple hats essentially.
Yeah.
And you're trying to manage multiple different things at once in a shorter time frame, which is just always stressful, having a lot going on in your head. I mean, all this isn't even mentioning the stress that creatives face with the idea that their work is being stolen by AI. So they probably don't even want to use it. So they have this disadvantage in producing times compared to people who do. So there is a lot of pressure on professional creatives. Is this also affecting people who do art as a hobby rather than a job?
Yes, so definitely. A thing that Mina Lei talked about in our video is sadly this productivity mindset is seeping into our rest time. I think there's this huge push to monetize your hobbies, and people feel the need to publish things, and even I crochet. And it is a quite expensive hobby because I have to buy the yarn and the stuff to crochet with, and yarn is expensive.
Yeah.
So I've definitely had the thought of like, I need to justify this financially. So should I sell pieces? Should I make patterns and sell those? But yeah, it's a downward spiral, honestly.
It's the very capitalist side of AI as
Oh,
well.
God, it's the worst.
I also feel like people just feel the need to post everything they do on social media and sort of become a brand, as it were, now, because everyone is just becoming influencers.
To be honest.
Yeah,
I have a crochet account.
I mean, I understand the appeal. I mean, they make so much money. You can profit financially a lot from it. So because I used to work in music, I did music copyright, and I just remember going to a lot of panels, and artists were encouraged to post on social media so much and create all these reels and TikToks, but it was really unfair on these artists who are they're wanting to make music. That's their job, that's their thing. They're not in marketing, and the line got really blurry of who was supposed to do what, and it's very overwhelming to have to keep promoting your work when that's not really your job. Like, you're not a marketer, and it gets very blurry and again overwhelming for people.
And I think we forget that what we're seeing on our social feeds is the 1% or like the 0.001%, and success, that type of success, is not as common as we think. Just because we see it every single day, we think everyone could do it. Why am I not doing it? It is not easy, and really kudos to the people who are being successful. And this isn't even, just about creative hobbies where you're creating. It's also the hobbies when we are consuming. So like when we're reading or we're watching films, I feel like we now have to track every single book we've read or every movie we've seen, like with Letterboxd or Goodreads.
I'm obsessed with Letterboxd.
No, because otherwise it somehow doesn't feel like it counts.
Yeah, exactly. I have to track everything, and the same with books as well, which is annoying because I feel like I read a book to not have screen time. I want to have that alone time, and again to sort of slow down and read something and be more present. But then afterwards I have to log it, and you again get that quick dopamine hit of seeing all the books that you've read, and it feels again maybe competitive because you're looking at how many you've read, and it shouldn't be like that.
Of course, I mean, also these reading challenges and stuff like that, it's just checking books off a list at some point.
Exactly.
Definitely feel like this adds to the idea that people are feeling the need to be productive in every waking moment. And somehow this logging, this tracking, this monetizing just justifies the way that people use their time.
I mean, what do we do? Do we just let this happen? Or, I mean, do you think there's anything we can do?
I mean, Mina Lei in her video did talk about some stuff. And of course, you always have to take in mind that people do need money. Like, we are in a very difficult economy right now, so people are trying to find many different hustles outside of their jobs. So with a grain of salt, of course. But I think it's really important to set really clear boundaries between work time and rest time, and then actually honor it. So, for example, when I was writing my undergrad thesis, I'm not saying I followed it, I'm not perfect, but the idea was that I would set a schedule for when I had to be writing and then when I had active rest. And it's important that you actually rest.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's counterintuitive.
Yeah.
But yeah. Or I do this thing where when I feel overwhelmed or I feel like I don't have time to do what I want to do, I just sit and I close my eyes, and any intrusive thought or anything that pops into my head, I will write it down. And at some point you've written everything down, and then you kind of sit there and you get bored. And that is actually a really good thing, I think.
Oh, being bored is amazing. I just think you need to. That's also when you become creative. I remember my RE teacher, back onto the point about, you know, needing your brain to take things in, told me that if you work in the evening and then you just reread everything you'd learnt that day, when you go to sleep and when you're closing your eyes, that's when it like really assimilates and like comes into your brain properly.
I definitely think that AI, notifications, productivity tracking, doom scrolling, we don't let ourselves get bored anymore, and maybe we have to consciously embrace inefficiency and boredom, and just maybe try sitting and staring at a wall for a bit.
Yeah, that's a tip for our listeners. Go sit at a wall. Okay, so next on our playlist today, we have Personal Order by Decky Allen.
Just like me, but far from a believer. The rush is getting under your skin. Just caught the fever, one toe at a time, sinking to the hole. Personal disorder is a sign of growth. Friends turn to foes, and foes stay close. Are you beneath the order? Have you found your aura? In the house of freaks, the house of the know-how, blending to the crowd. Don't get too loud. What's up? Spin that banana, try your luck. There's something in the water. Spin that banana, rip off the rubber, try your luck. There's something in the water. What's up? Spin that banana, try your luck. There's something in the water. Spin that banana, rip off the rubber, try your luck. As it trickles down, I'm going off outfield with my belief. I fight the urge to go and cop a deal. God bless the dead and somebody's little daughter. Life's a bitch, so I'd rather pick a hoe than a Madonna. Now have you ever jacked off at 6 years old and feel like everything you touch will turn right into gold? I'm peeling off the layers, I'm trying to empty your soul. The eyes are diabolical, so I'm chewing on every bone. What's up? Spin that banana, try your luck. There's something in the water. Spin that banana, rip off the rubber, try your luck. There's something in the water. What's up? Spin that banana, try your luck. There's something in the water. Spin that banana, rip off the rubber, try your luck.
That was Personal Order by Decky Allen. So for our last topic of the day, we're going to take a break from the AI stuff. I think that's been a lot for everyone.
Yeah.
So, Scarlett, have you ever had your food stolen by a seagull?
Yes. Thank you for asking. This is a trauma I need to let go of. Yeah, so if my friends and family are listening, they've heard the story many times because it's actually the craziest story. Well, yeah, I was just at a cafe and I was waiting for my boyfriend to finish his project, what he was working on. So I was just by myself in Sweden, actually. And I had a nice cinnamon roll. And I was sitting, and it was like in a basket, and I was sitting outside, and I was having the best time ever. And this massive seagull comes and just snatches the whole roll. Like, I hadn't even tried it yet. And I was so sad, and everyone audibly gasped in the restaurant. They all looked at me and they went, and I was just like so embarrassed, and I was like, okay, whatever, I'm gonna pull out my book. And these nice girls came and they bought me a new cinnamon roll, and they brought it to me, so that was really nice. But then, so I was sitting there and reading. I don't know if it's the same seagull with a vengeance, but it came and it pooped on me, like really badly, like all over me.
Oh no.
And so again, everyone at the restaurant just looks at me and goes, and like people like cover their mouths and they're all looking at me in shock and like pity in their eyes. And I stand up and I kind of like, you know, look at everyone like I have to say a statement at this point because everyone's so involved. And I just went, I'm gonna go sit inside. And so I grabbed my not pooped on cinnamon roll, the second one, and I went inside, even though it was a lovely summer day and I was sitting like in this dark cafe by myself. But yeah, it was very traumatizing.
A crazy story.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe the seagull had a sort of allergic reaction to the cinnamon bun, and then it all came out.
It was just angry at me. Really,
Yeah,
felt like
maybe.
ruining my day.
I mean, I'm actually terrified of birds, so I don't go anywhere near them. I avoid British beaches. I don't want any.
No.
And also, yeah, you're wasting good food. You must have spent like £5, especially in the UK, on a cinnamon roll.
I mean, a cinnamon roll is expensive.
Yeah.
So bless those girls who brought me another one.
It's very sweet of them.
Very sweet.
Anyway, so one of our hosts from the past few shows, our fabulous Kazuma, we have brought him in with us today. Hello, Kazuma.
Hello, everyone. I actually had trouble staying quiet when you're talking about the story.
Oh,
It was
really?
hilarious, yeah.
Do you have your own bird terror story?
Well, it's not a seagull, but I was living in India.
Yeah.
And we'd buy like pizza in the canteen and we'd have it in like the football field.
Mm-hmm.
You just have this like, I don't know if it was an eagle or something.
What?
It's just, it was massive. So like, it literally like slapped my face with its wings and took away my pizza twice in the space of like 3 years.
But honestly, that's way more epic that it was an eagle.
It is, but like, I genuinely feared for my life when that
I can
happened. Like,
imagine.
because it's massive. I just like slapped my face.
Yeah, their wingspan is huge.
Yeah, it was terrible. But
So tell us about your seagull research.
So this researcher and research team in the University of Exeter published a study this month about how herring gulls, or what we commonly refer to as seagulls, fly away when they're shouted at.
That's very interesting. I didn't know that. I feel like I usually just do a shoo away kind of gesture and hope they leave me alone. But I guess it's kind of similar to how dogs get intimidated, right, when you shout at them.
Yeah, I think it is, but the interesting difference is that dogs have been like domesticated for thousands of years now, but the human society and seagulls have only really been in big contact since urbanization, so it's very likely that they only learned it over like the past like century or so. So it must have been a really quick adaptation, I think.
That's so interesting.
So yeah, I think the research has been going on for quite a while now. I think I saw a couple of papers around the topic from like 2018 or so, and basically in 2022, which is the most recent, not the most recent, the one before that, they basically established that seagulls respond to men's shouting voice similarly to how they respond to another gull's alarm call. So they guessed that, there must be something similar going on in terms of the flight response. So in the most recent study, they basically tried to build on that. They would ask 5 British men to say, no, stay away, that's my food, that's my pace. You probably heard that in the beginning. Both shouting and speaking voices.
Okay.
And as a control experiment, they also prepared recordings of European robins. To see if their response was human specific or if they were just sensitive to sounds in general.
That makes sense.
So surprisingly, they only reacted to the human voices, and they would fly away to the shouting voices, but only sort of like while away in response to speaking voice. So they were clearly intimidated by the shouting voice more than the speaking voices. And just to clarify, the reason why they only asked men to do it is because usually the wildlife crimes against the gulls are usually committed by men. So they wanted to see if those experiences had maybe contributed to their physiological activity.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is a really funny visual to imagine.
It is, yeah.
Men shouting at seagulls.
Yeah, like the video. There's a video on YouTube, right? And I was able to like, I obviously had to watch through and I was reading the article. But it's kind of comical how like there's literally no one, but there's like a speaker that just like has a recording of the guy shouting, and like the girls just like fly away.
Oh no!
It's quite funny. Everyone should watch it. Yeah.
Don't know whether to feel bad or happy about this
Nah,
new
they can't take my
knowledge.
food. They can't take my food though.
Yeah. So where was this experiment? Where was it conducted?
It was, I think, in Cornwall on one of their beaches.
Mm.
I've never been to it, but I've been to Brighton, and there were plenty of seagulls.
Oh yeah.
And I've been attacked a few times. So
Oh, you really tend to attract the birds.
I don't know. But yeah, I think it's really, this experiment isn't just like sort of like a funny experiment. It's also quite important.
Yeah.
Because I think few times, over maybe like once every couple of years, you kind of have this news of people attacking gulls and like sort of like hurting them. So they state in a conclusion that it's very important to take this study seriously because it shows how we can non-invasively interact with gulls and protect our food. And to be honest, just don't leave your food in public as well.
Yeah,
I'd
for
say.
sure.
Like if a gull doesn't take it, someone else is gonna.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Honestly, I haven't thought about it so much as we're protecting them as they're protecting us. But of course.
Yeah. It's quite nasty. And the important thing is also that they are endangered species, if you guys didn't know.
Seagulls?
Yeah, they are.
It feels like they're everywhere.
Yeah, I know. It feels like they're like in every city, every town. But they are apparently like an endangered species. And it's actually registered in the WHO. Not WHO. WWF, I think.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Not WHO.
The World Health Organization, what are they getting involved for?
Yeah, so their population is only half of what it was 50 years ago.
I see.
But yeah, there's a lot of factors involved, like fish depletion because of obviously overfishing.
Right.
Things like climate change, diseases, or egg predation by rats and foxes because rats obviously live in cities, urbanization, and they get more vulnerable. So yeah, it is actually quite serious.
Yeah, and they are, if you think about, apart from the stealing the food, they are quite magnificent birds. And they can fly very far over open ocean. It is a very impressive bird.
If they don't bother me, I love them.
I was just going to say, I think it's quite funny that you think they're magnificent after they, pooped
after
all over you.
That's all right.
It's quite a kind word to give.
I see humans as the invasive species rather than the other way around. So you can steal my food, I guess.
Yeah, and I guess in the future, they obviously wondered if female voices have an effect. So it'd be really interesting if it was just a male's voice.
Further research.
So then they would, because that really shows that it was these sort of like criminal activities that actually pushed the gulls to evolve that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're also trying to look at artificial sound. If we're gonna try to fit it together with the artificial intelligence theme today. But yeah, it's basically trying to like mimic the same pitch and inflections to the human voice to see if it's something very limited to the human voice or if it's something else. So yeah.
Thanks, Kazuma. That's very interesting. Okay, so next up we have Giving It In by Faye Mina.
That was Giving It In by Faye Mina. So before we end the show today, don't think we forgot about our AI theme and that we have to give you the answers to the quiz from the start of the show. We did cover some of the questions today throughout the show, so maybe you discovered some answers throughout. So the first question of the show was the true or false question. An AI can understand what you are telling it and respond accordingly. So this is false. AIs can only mimic patterns it sees in its data and predict the next word in a sequence based on statistical probabilities. So it's not human-like. It doesn't have human-like intelligence. Hence, the AI psychosis. You are not speaking to something that understands what you are telling it. It is all just mathematics in the end.
Exactly. Okay. Second question. I feel like we need like a drum roll or something. We should have added that. So this one, there we go. Thank you. True or false again. AI output relies on data and algorithms. Therefore, AI is inherently neutral and unbiased. The answer is false. AIs are biased, or as biased as the data that they are trained on. So to get unbiased training data for AI is very, very hard, as humans who provide the data are inherently biased themselves.
Yeah, exactly. Well put. For the third question, true or false, AI can often make mistakes when completing technical tasks like coding, diagnosing diseases, or solving complex problems. So this is true. AI does lack contextual awareness, like I said in the first question, and so it doesn't have this problem-solving intuition. So it is really important that we have human experts and just you using your critical thinking skills to validate and troubleshoot AI-generated outputs.
Exactly, because they can hallucinate, they can make stuff up.
Of course.
We shouldn't be trusting them as Bible. This is...
and the answers could be biased.
Yeah, exactly. There's just so many problems with it. So it's always good to, I mean, if you are going to be using it, to always check.
For sure.
Okay, and then the final question. So A, B, C, or D. Why is AI harmful for the environment? So it was a bit of a trick question because it is all three, A, B, and C. It produces electronic waste, it consumes large quantities of water, and it relies on rare and critical elements and minerals. So it's important to keep this in mind when using AI. Use it responsibly. I mean, it has a horrible effect on the environment. I think people need to be more conscious about using it. I think businesses are really pushing people, the workforce, to use AI and to assist them, which, as we've already discussed, is incredibly problematic for mental health, also just for productivity purposes. Like, people shouldn't be so reliant on it, and also because it's so bad for the environment.
Right. And I think it definitely has to do a bit with, you know, the discourse around environmental change. There is a feeling that you are a very small contributor to environmental change. But if everyone is thinking, yes, everyone uses AI, my boss told me to use AI, my teacher told me to use AI, and you don't challenge it and you just use it irresponsibly and all the time, you are just adding to the problem. And what you do and what you talk to people and what you tell them can make a difference. So it's definitely really important to keep that in mind when using AI. I think most of us have used AI and will use it now and then. Just be an adult, think responsibly, think critically, for sure. Yes.
Yeah, there's so much like satisfaction you get of doing something yourself as well. Just don't be lazy, people, you know. Do it yourself. It's always better anyway. It feels more organic and it's personable.
Of course. And with that comes the end of our show today.
Many thanks to Yilin, Betty and Kazima behind the desk for contributing to today's episode.
We will be back next week with another episode. In the meantime, you can email us via science19@gmail.com. That's 9 written out as a number and 1 as the written way. Feel free to leave a comment and let us know how you did on the quiz.
And with that, I'm Izzy.
And I'm Scarlett. And this has been Science at 1.